Right, hello. So I'm doing a stream now, but just warn people, it might crash. Just because I've had two random PC crashes this evening, which I think have been down to like a dodgy Windows 10 update. That's my best guess. If they're not that, it's because of like power problems, because obviously a bit rainy and I heard a bit of thunder earlier, but it's basically a bit rainy out. That whether or not there's power line problems, I don't know. But yeah, so other than that, I'll be doing a stream as normal, but to warn people, there is a possibility it will crash because it crashed once, sort of my PC about an hour ago, then another time about 20 minutes ago. So I thought I'll just start the stream now and we'll see if we can get anything out of it. And hopefully it won't crash again. But it might have been just, some application causing problems with the Windows 10 update. And then I've not even got any like mining software running in the background at the moment when I'm doing this. So my PC, shouldn't have much activity going on with either the GPU or the CPU or whatever. Let me just get the CPU logs rather than GPU logs. So I'm just sort of interested in if it's got a bit hotter, like it needs some new thermal paste. I know it's always worth doing that. No, at the moment, both the GPU and the CPU are running at pretty good temperatures. CPU's running at the actual CPU is running about 52C, the cooler's running about 38C, and the GPU's running at 55C, so I don't think it can be that unless there was something. Glad you like the videos, comment. But yeah, hello everybody. So something interesting I've got that I will do a video on at some point, which some of you might know what these are, and no, it's not a GIMP mask. Which type of American ones? Because there's several different ones, but from what I know, American NBC suits are fine. It's just you never really see them in the UK. But yes, this is some of you might know what this is for. But UK weather, I don't think we'd ever get a real use for it. But some of you might recognise them. Probably a good mask for around Halloween time, saying that. But I found one for pretty cheap that's blatantly kind of unused. Be a bit worried if I got a used one. But anyone want to take a guess what this is? I'd assume the people into like the military equipment would actually know. But no, it's not a GIMP mask or a Halloween mask. But I'll wait and see if anybody's got an answer first. Yeah, Snoz is right, cold weather masks. So extreme cold weather masks, you'd wear them with like other cold weather protecting, and it's basically to stop your mouth freezing shut or your nose freezing. So again, a gas mask can do a similar thing, but it's just the reason it looks a bit gimpy is because it's got like that sewn up looking mouth thing. No, not against sand, but I said about against cold. But yeah, you'll see in World War II soldiers wearing gas masks as cold weather masks because they do a similar thing. The idea is basically to stop your skin being in contact with, really cold winds. Yeah, USA cold weather, correct. They turned up on UK eBay recently for like a £5 each, so I thought I'd buy one. Well, I don't know what you mean by 11mm coffee cans. They're normally 40mm or 60mm. But if you mean just like modern 40mm ones that are safe, you can buy ones from China. Some of them are all right. But yeah, so I'll leave feedback for that because that came yesterday, but I was quite ill yesterday, so I didn't really open it or look at it properly yesterday. But today again, I'm all right again, so that's a bit weird. But oh, and that bruise, I think we figured out on the members stream yesterday how I got that bruise. Because if you look at that bruise there, look at where my arm is, and then look, although it'd be if my chair was in a slightly different position, look where my arm comes into contact if I put my arm down like that on there. So I think I must have swung the chair about, hit my arm, just gone at the time, that only mildly hurt, and that's bruised up quite badly. We've already had the answer. It's a USA cold weather mask. You can get other nations' cold weather masks. Some of them look fairly similar. Some of them look a bit different. But they're normally always just, like some sort of cloth or rubbery type material, just a couple of eye holes in them. But like the more modern version of a balaclava, basically. Balaclava being the old, like, wool sort of one where you just had the eye holes in it. Sometimes a mouth hole. But yeah, the thing is, it looks a bit gimpy, but because it was cheap, I thought, and it was an unused one, I thought, yeah, I'll get one just because I thought, it's kind of a weird looking thing and might be good for a video. Yeah, all right, your mother. But yeah, hope everybody's all right anyway. Akko, what's the Soviet one look like, Peach? Does that look similar, or is that made to look more just like a sort of ski mask? Because some of them just look like the ski mask balaclava things, don't they, where you've just got a single kind of eye slit in them and that's it. Not at the moment at Turtle Beach Headstand. At the moment, I'm still trying to get rid of some more stuff. Like, the stuff I don't really use for videos or anything like that. Because today I was going to look for a helmet to sell, and I did look in one of the places I thought it might have been, but couldn't find it there. So another day when I've got a bit of time this week, I'm going to look through a couple of other boxes where it might be, and then I'll hopefully find it. All right, cool. You're just sending it on Twitter, Peach. If I get up on my phone, if it displays all right on my phone, I can hold it up to the webcam for people to see when he sends his. But yeah, but as I said to the people who didn't get to the beginning of the stream, there's a chance this stream might crash. Just because of the so you've just linked the US one, it says, unless it comes up with a different one. Yes, that's the same one I've got, or did you mean to send a different link? Because the one you sent is the US one, the same as my one on Twitter. Because yeah, you just sent that. I'll have to unplug my phone. You just sent, probably turn the brightness down as well. Yeah, that one, the one I've got. Yeah, that is the US one. The Soviet one looks quite different than that. The Soviet ones, let's actually see what a Soviet one looks like. Because I've seen their balaclavas, but I'm sure they have probably a bit more of a sophisticated one than that. All the ones coming up, right? I've seen one Soviet one, Peach, like one legit Soviet one. And a legit one looks like it bolts onto a Ushanka, where you've just got some stuff that goes around your face like that goes on the Ushanka. Basically turns the Ushanka into a balaclava, which makes sense. But like we were saying before, lots of gas masks will actually work quite well as cold weather masks, as long as there's no metal bits sticking to your face. That's all right, Atomic CS. But the thing is, they're useful things. Like, obviously, they're not really useful if you're like me and you get loads and loads and loads of them. Then they can take a bit too much room, can't they? And make everything look like you're hoarding and cluttering everywhere. But yeah, having a couple of them is actually quite a good idea in the sense that you never know when it might come in useful for something. That's the exact problem Turtle Beach headset, and that's why I don't have one, because you need to be very careful on the seller you're using. There's probably a couple of good eBay sellers that always sell legit ones, but yeah, I've just had the issue where I know a lot of people get scammed with those, where they order one and they get sent an airsoft one rather than like a proper one. So one that's made out of plastic rather than titanium or whatever. Which is why I've never bought one. Like, if you knew a legit a legit seller over like in Russia who might be able to source you one, it's a bit of a different story. But yeah, I'm always a bit skeptical where it's like one bloke just selling them out his garage. Saying that, the Soviet one that goes on the sort of Ushanka hat, that looks a bit like that actually, like a bit like the like Fallout protective masks. It's just that sort of thing, like a thick bit of cloth where your eye is just to sort of through it. Yeah, I've bought some all right stuff from Etsy saying that, Snoz, like the same ones where the sellers would often have a more expensive eBay store. Right, Tactical Pirate? If I asked him what this is, he'd probably said a Jack Striker mask, wouldn't he? But Tactical, look what I got. But it's just because they're cheap on eBay at the moment. And I guess if you were the sort of person who was interested in using it for BDSM, you can open that and, have somebody deliver something into your mouth that way. But yeah, by default, you'd have that closed because you don't want your lips freezing shut. But yeah, it's just because they're cheap at the moment. They're cool things as long as you get one that is brand new. But I'll see how well it fits me, actually. Because like I said, I've not tried it on yet. Right, let's undo the straps. So the straps, they only do up on one side by the look of it, yeah. I hope it's actually big enough to fit me. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's a bit of a tight fit, this one. Saying that. Can I undo any more of the straps? Oh yeah, that one will undo a bit more. Okay, that's the straps undone. That one doesn't undo. Those ones don't undo. Okay, let's try again. Oh no, I think I'm too fat to fit on my face. Yeah, that's definitely. Unless I can take that bit off completely, then rethread it. Let's try that. But yeah, turns out my face is too big for this, which I've not really had that issue for before with different masks. Unless I'm just doing the straps up completely wrong. Let's just try putting the headband round like that first of all. No, I'm just my head is way too big for that strap. It's not very big, is it? That head sort of harness thing. Unless you can slide it all to one side. It's just this particular strap does not seem big enough to go over your sort of forehead and then come down. But yeah, so anyway, the cold weather gimp mask thing doesn't even fit me, so that's a bit annoying. But oh, it was cheap. I don't mind. I thought these were like a universal size thing. So yeah, there's that. Yours has poppers. Yeah, but said can't fit it on me. But oh well. But yeah, we've already had the power go out. Well, I'm not sure if it was actually the power or just something like causing a bit of a power issue of the PC, but that's gone down a few times today already. Yeah, there's poppers on the front section of mine, but there's not for the actual rear straps. For Halloween itself, Stug, not really, no. I'll probably do a Halloween special for YouTube, but I have a feeling Halloween's actually on a day I'm working, so I'd have to do the video, before I go to work at the weekend and then just schedule it to go on. Yeah, Halloween's on a Sunday, so I'll be working it. But yeah, so, oh well, if it doesn't fit me, it doesn't fit me, but I'd have thought these would generally be sort of oversized. Like saying the mask isn't too small, it's just the straps are tiny on it, almost like they've shrunk. But oh well. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better today, Dan, thanks. Yeah, so for the people who don't know, I did a member stream yesterday, but I felt really bad yesterday. So it was one of those weird things. Like I wasn't hungover, or, if I was, I shouldn't have been, for the amount I'd had the day before. But like I said to a few people, I've just decided I'm going to have quite a while off drinking anything for a while, just to, while everything in my body sorts itself out, which is always a good idea to do anyway now and then. But yeah, I had sort of this annoying thing yesterday where I woke up, felt a bit hungover, just a bit achy and sort of tired. And then throughout the day, like my kidneys were still being painful. I'd had the kidney stone, and then I had a day where everything I was trying to do went wrong, that I was doing it and, just being annoying. No, not the Polish vodka, but yeah, anyway, so what ended up happening is there's one type of tablets, I won't say as much as I did on the member stream, but there's one type of tablets I've been prescribed for a while that have such a long list of side effects, and because I get quite a few of the side effects, but the doctor's like, oh, if you can put up with them, just keep taking them. I've just gonna thought, nah, fuck it, because I don't want tablets that actually make me feel worse than when I'm not on them. If you've got a GP5 filter and you don't want it, you're gonna actually throw it away. You're going to have to look at your local laws for like how you can throw it away. I mean, what you could potentially do is what was I going to say? What you could potentially do, I guess, is see if somebody wants it, and then if you can find a way of posting it. I suppose you could always put extenders on these straps, couldn't you? I just need to see if I can get these completely out the buckles. Ah, cool. It's probably that same one. Or do you mean the new June? Do you mean the one that some people like, some people don't like? The one that's like half of the first film or whatever, or half of the first book? That one? Oh, Peach, saying that, I think you might be right. Is that a popper, or am I going to rip the mask doing that? No, I think that might be a popper. Let's have a look if that's not sewn on. Ah, you're clever, Peach. That's it. Yeah, I didn't even notice there were poppers under that. So let me rethread this strap. And then, yes, there are poppers on it that don't seem obvious. You can always have it as a shelf ornament, can't you? When it's sealed, it's completely safe. But yes, Peach, you're right. But I could not even notice those poppers under there. I suppose when the strap's there, you don't see it, do you? Right, there we go. Let's try again. probably fit me this time. Yep, should be fine. If I can get this bit on. I'll try the other one first. I suppose the problem is now that strap's going like the wrong way, isn't it? Right, is this the top one or is the other one the top one? Can't really work it out from this angle. So yeah, the top one, I have to untangle that now because I actually got it quite tangled. But yes, I wonder if I can get one of these on but not the other, because if so, I could always pop a one up first and then try it that way. Yeah, the problem is as well, it gets tangled, which reduces its length by the look of it, like some of the gas mask straps do. Okay, so let's try and straighten this out first, and then I'll go back to the comments. Because yeah, if it's tangled, it's going to make it even worse trying to do that back up, and that attaches right up the top there. Okay, so can I fit it on with one of the things detached? Let's see. No, it's like attach both of them again. This is confusing me now. It shouldn't, because it's a simple mask, but I'm assuming it just didn't pop on very tight. Fun you have with silly little masks that are meant to be simple to use. Because the thing is, if you had gloves on your hands, this would be really difficult to actually do up and then. If I can get that last bit on. Yeah, those straps don't really feel right, but they are at least on now. So yeah, there you go. That's the mask on. There you go. So yeah, that's a bit weird. I guess it is still a bit small for me, this one, but yeah, it does do up if you do it. Take the thing off of the poppers, but then the straps don't really go where they're meant to go. Like that middle one is definitely not over the brim of my head. It's sort of stuck at an angle like that, but oh well. But yeah, it's like I said, I'll probably sort the straps out properly at some point, but it could do with, I think, just a bit longer straps. Again, they're probably meant to be really cheap masks, aren't they? Yeah, like I said, Peach, have a play about with it a bit more in front of a mirror at some point. Dan, that one is boringly just from eBay, but not that section of eBay, just on the army surplus section of eBay, and Peach found one somewhere else. But yeah, you're not going to want it on indoors, are you, Peach? Because again, they're for like sub-zero temperatures. Yeah, that's annoying, Dan. But yeah, it's been really rainy here because my PC's conked out a couple of times, but I don't know if it's been like, I think the first time it must have been like a proper, like very brief power cut, because the screen went off as well. And if the PC crashes, the screen stays on and just says no signal. So as they both went on off at the exact same time, obviously it was something that went through the proper like power lines, I guess, in the house. But because the lighting circuits here are on a different power ring than the electrical sockets, you occasionally have a weird thing where all the lights stay on, but all the electronics go off, or like vice versa. Like if the lights all go off, that's normally just because of like a blown light bulb. But yeah, sometimes you'll get the weird one where all the electronics go on, but ceiling lights stay on. Because you've actually had something that's like surged, and if it'll keep tripping the system because it's not safely sort of turned off. All right, Mike, you missed the Jack Striker mask, which doesn't fit me very well, so I'm not going to keep playing about trying to put it on. The one that looks like a GIMP mask, which is one of those extreme cold weather masks. But yeah, that was quite funny to play about with. Do you know yet, Mike, if you're going to be on Twitch tonight? Just sort of as an early warning thing, because then I can sort of plan a bit more of my evening. Obviously, if you don't know yet, then that's fine. But if I know for certain you are or aren't on, I can just plan around that. But what was I going to say? I think I've got a bit of a cold coming on again now. So I've only just got over one like a week or so ago, and then I've been noticing today my throat started feeling a bit tickly again, and then a bit snotty sort of thing. I'll do a lateral flow test later and see if that says if I've got the coughs or not. But I assume it's just another cold because we've not had colds for ages. Like, you've got one of my other mates has got a cold, who doesn't live in Oxfordshire. So when I was speaking to him online, he goes, I've got a really nasty cold now, and I've not had one for months. And I thought, oh yeah, you've got probably the same thing everybody else got. The main reason I noticed earlier is when I was eating a couple of different things, they were like, yeah, so I suppose that makes sense, doesn't it, Mike? That, yeah, if you're not on tonight, you can start something else, and then you've got a choice of what to play by Monday. Yeah, that's completely fine and all that. But yeah, because what was I going to say? I'm feeling a lot better today, by the way, if I didn't say so earlier. But yeah, like I said, the only annoying thing now is it's like I said, the reason I sort of noticed I got a sore throat coming on is I've noticed when I sometimes get a sore throat coming, I notice it first where if I eat certain things, they irritate your throat a bit, or I guess like the lining's already a bit inflamed or sore on like your throat. So, if you're just drinking water and like eating basic things, you won't notice. But I've noticed if you eat spicy foods and you're going to get a sore throat, you notice it earlier. So I reckon that's it. Oh, I hope I've not, but like I said, I can do a lateral flow test. But normally the lateral flow tests, I always do them the days before I go into work, because that way, it's the last warning possible to, not infect other people. Whereas it seems a bit pointless to me some days, like, not Sunday as in Sunday of the week, but as in some days, to just kind of do one because you picked up any sort of symptom. Because otherwise, if you're doing that, you're going to run all your lateral flow tests out within like a week, and they make them hard to get now. Yeah, strange, Mike, but at least I suppose if you're over it, then you've got a few better days ahead, haven't you? Right, Lewis? Yeah, the thing, it depends how cold you get, because the problem is, I'd say balaclava is a lot more comfortable than one of those masks. Ah, cool. What did you shoot, Lewis? But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better than yesterday, at least. But again, I think part of that is just stopping on that medication. It seems to have all the side effects, because I've noticed the less I have of that, or like, none at all, you're obviously going to get none of the side effects. And that's definitely a medication I'd say that would be, if you had a kidney stone, you'd never want to take it, because like, one of the side effects, like, basically, slows down your amount of urination and stuff like that. I'm not working tomorrow properly, Dan. I'm sort of doing a little job for somebody in the morning, but then I'm meeting them anyway. And they've said, like, they personally don't care just because I'm meeting up with a mate. If I had corona or what, not because it's like my birthday thing. But I might do a lateral flow actually then, just because otherwise I am sort of, doing something tomorrow. But yeah, it's one of those things tomorrow where I'm just seeing one of my mates because he can't see me when it's my actual birthday. So he said that, he's free tomorrow if I wanted to just hang out and like watch some films or something. Oh, that's cool. An AK-12. So that's like the Soviet, like modern Russian AK platform style shotgun, isn't it? That's very cool. But yeah, that's a lot better today, Mike. So last night compared to the night before, last night I woke up a couple of times in the night to go to the toilet and that, and then I just drank some more water. But I fell, asleep within like 10 minutes of getting up and going to the toilet. And today it's been either completely, fine, not hurting as usual, or like a 1 out of 10 sort of pain, for like an hour at a time. And then I've just found, staying hydrated has kept it, all moving fine. So a Sega 12 or the AK-12, because I thought they're different guns, aren't they? I probably will, Dan, because I've got the day off work and I'm not going to be doing much. As in, my birthday this year has just fallen on a day where lots of my family and lots of my mates are all doing stuff on that day, in like different places. And I had a few people say, "Oh, we could cancel what we're doing if you want to see you for your birthday." I said, "No, if you pre-planned it, don't bother, because I'm not somebody who's going to get super upset that, like, but a fewer people then are like a few days after my birthday, we're going out, and having an all right day out, like a few days after, if that makes sense. So most of them have said, like, I can see you on this day, but I can't see you on your birthday. I said, that's fine. And some other ones have said, well, we could all go out on this day. And I said, yeah, that's fine. So I'm just having a birthday where I'm just going to probably play video games, stuff like that, which isn't all that bad, I suppose. It's just, yeah. But I think the last couple of birthdays I have been out for them. So in some ways, I suppose it's nice having a birthday where you're not thinking, oh, I need to be at a certain place for a certain time, and all that. A lot better LLL than I was a few days ago or whatever, and yesterday as well. My thing was playing up quite a bit. But yeah, I could definitely do a stream on my birthday at some point. But oh, sorry, Tactical, if you replied, did you say it's like the new June, as in the 2021 June, or like the re-release of the old June? I don't think I saw your message if you replied. Well, that makes sense, Little Picker, in a way, doesn't it? That, yeah, you get to the stage where you notice you've caught something quickly, but it goes very quickly. But I thought there was literally an AK-12 shotgun as well, unless I'm just completely misremembering stuff. So is the AK-12 like the AK-103 or whatever it is? Oh, so it is a 2021 version. Well, if it's streamable online, I'll definitely watch that then, because it's not something I can really be asked to go to the cinema. But, it's one of those things that I quite happily watch it, online and then give my opinion. I know a lot of films are better in the cinema. There are only a few films that, at the moment, especially, I could be bothered. Because the problem is with me, the closest cinema is like a 20-minute drive. And that cinema's quite good if you're going for a day out with people, because it's one where you can go to the cinema and then there's like a bowling alley on the same sort of site as well, so there's a couple of different things you can do once you've driven there. But all the other cinemas are, ones that they're just in random places you have to drive to or like catch a bus to, and those I can never be asked, get a bus, wait for a bus, get one, go to the cinema, then get a bus home. Yeah, we're getting a takeaway in the evening. Yeah, I hope that all goes well for you as well, Mike. Because, yeah, at the moment, I'm like I was saying, I'm probably planning on doing that dry November thing. But, like I said, I've not had a drink in a couple of days anyway. So I'm sort of tempted that if I do have a drink before November starts, it is just going to be for my birthday, and then be sensible. I'm wondering then, LLL, if it's one where I've seen one of the other ones and they've just called it an AK-12 in like a game to avoid copyright or something. I think you've just noticed a new one because I've not shone any lasers at the camera recently, but it will depend where I'm sitting because obviously it's harder to notice them when the chair material's behind them in my face because on my face they're a bit more obvious. But yeah, it depends where the camera's pointing and the lighting because obviously it's like, yeah, if I'm sat here, you're not going to notice them as much, especially if, like they're there because obviously they're then over my shoulder and just blend in with the chair. Whereas, yeah, when my face or like your skin's there, you can notice them, can't you? Because then you can see where there's actually like the dead pixels in the camera. And I suppose that's not even including foreign AKs, is it? As in like Chinese Type 56 rifles, and all those. Because there's a lot of like foreign made AKs as well that are like based off of AK models. Yeah, that sounds a good thing to do, Mike. Because it's one of those things where if you even had a thing where you slipped up for a day, that's still a pretty good streak, isn't it? Because, but yeah, like I said, I just feel like doing it for a change. Because I think in December, people want to go out to sort of like parties and drink a lot, don't they? And everybody at Christmas and New Year always wants to drink. So I might as well give all my organs a rest before December. But Yeah, November seems a good month to do it, because I don't think I ever have much going on in November. Like, I'm trying to think. I think one of my mates has his birthday in November, but never wants to do anything for it. And other than that, I don't think people really drink for November the 5th, do they? Yeah. Yeah, it's camouflage, basically, litter picker. And if I was wearing a purple shirt, you probably wouldn't notice them at all. But yeah, it's also the lighting, because like I said, I need to, at some point, get my mag light in here, clear the chair out, and get the plug sorted for this, because I did an annoying thing where one week I was trying to sort some plugs out down there. I unplugged this one by accident and also reeled the cable in for it, and then only realised it wasn't the right plug. And then, because it's too dark down there now, I can't actually see where the little connector is on the bottom of the lamp to put the plug back in. Because some of these lamps have like a cable, don't they, that runs down the side of the lamps. This one doesn't, which kind of makes it better and neater. But it means that there's like a little bit in the base. You have to lift the base off the floor, and then you have to look through the bit on the base and the floor, the little pin where it connects. And that's pretty difficult to do unless you've got a bright light on. Yeah, because I've heard of people doing dry Decembers, Mike. But I thought that would be the worst month to do it, especially if you're trying to encourage people that, ought to have a month off. But you wouldn't do it in a month like December, because that's, like, I've heard of dry January, and that makes more sense. But dry December just, in Western culture, doesn't make sense. All right, Flazzy. And hello, Lord Flashheart and everybody else just joining. But yeah, that's my exact point, really, Mike, is I think the worst month for me to try and not drink at all would be December, just because of the sheer amount of times I'm going to be in contact with people that would be drinking. And my dad's birthday is in December as well, so, there's stuff like that where... What's new? The new Metro. I've played Metro 2033 and... Is it Last Light? Is it Exodus, the newer one? But is there a new one after Exodus? Because I've not played Exodus. I've just played 2033 and Last Light and the Redux versions of them, which are essentially the same with a couple of like models changed and maybe a little change in the gameplay. But because I spent years between playing them, I wouldn't be able to remember if, like the guns ammunition count is changed on one of the guns to another, or an enemy's in one place and isn't in another place. So is that yes, it's Exodus, or yes, there's a new one that's coming out that's not Exodus? Yes and no doesn't really work in a lot of things like that. Oh, Oliver, I was having an annoying conversation with my mum earlier because she's like, the government's too slow. They need to lock everything down again. Like, no, they don't need to lock everything down again. It's like everybody who wants a vaccine's been vaccinated. Can we just please go back to normal life? I know they've still extended all the regulations, but I really don't want them to get to the stage where they start putting people on furlough again, and saying certain places can't open or they can only open to certain amounts. Can't we just grin and bear it now? Because, like when it was a brand new disease and it was overwhelming a lot of health systems, I completely understood the need for like a lot of measures. But now we've got vaccines and everything else, I just can't understand the logic of locking down again. Like if you're so scared for your own life, maybe just lock yourself down in your house, I guess. Sanitize all your groceries as they come in. Oh, no, that's cool. Well, I've never been a massive fan. I'll say DayZ. I know most people call it DayZ because Americans say Z as Z, but we say Z as Z here. Right, so DayZ or DayZ, I've never been a massive fan of. I do like Arma 2. Is that your battery, Tactical? Out of all those survival type games, Long Dark's definitely been my favourite one, just because I find it the most atmospheric type of one. And I just like that you get, all the wind noises, and then you can be sat in a little house, lighting a little bonfire, putting on loads of layers of socks. The thing I like with the Long Dark is if you're in a cold environment, you would put more than one jumper on, wouldn't you? But the thing I don't get with a lot of survival games like that is you can only wear like one shirt or one jumper, whereas the Long Dark actually lets you wear like up to 6 like layers of clothes, doesn't it? And that's what you'd do if you're in a freezing place. If you found more clothes, you'd put them on. You wouldn't say, oh no, I'm freezing to death, but I can't be bothered to put another layer of coats on. All right, Brighto? But yeah, well, that's my attitude first one shot. But it's that if everybody has been offered a vaccination that wants a vaccination, because I can understand if you're in some place where there's still lots of vulnerable people and they've not been vaccinated yet because of the lack of vaccines. But if you're literally in a place where they're debating if people should have third shots of vaccines or whatever else, I'd say in that attitude, my place would be, if you want one, you'd have had it by this point, wouldn't you? So at this point, I should be allowed to say, if I get really sick, that's my own risk I want to take, but I don't want to be locked up forever. Yeah, the thing is, I think you eventually always do die on those runs, Mike, don't you? As in, I think you always will eventually run out of food and things like that, even when you're playing it on the easiest difficulty. But yeah, that was quite realistic. So for the people who don't know, Mike went through a building. Was it the big dam that's on one section of the map? I'm not sure. But he went out a door that was one way, and he didn't realise it was a one-way fire door, and we didn't even when we were watching. So he went out the one-way fire door, and obviously didn't have lots of cold weather stuff prepared, and he was in a building that was sheltering him quite a lot from the cold. Went out the fire door, was suddenly in the freezing cold and couldn't get back in because the fire door had slammed behind him. I'll have a look, Brighter. Like I said, this one it's not a thing for anymore because I've already sorted this one out in a sense. But I'll have a look. But yeah, like I said, yeah, that's the thing. They're all laser burns though. But yes. But yeah, it's because the dam's meant to be the most interesting indoor place there, isn't it? It's got the most different rooms, and you can even get wolves in there. I think on the harder difficulties. Did you see Greta Thunberg doing a dancing to "Never Gonna Give You Up"? That was a bit weird to watch. But yes, the thing is with green energy, like I've said before, I think it's good if you just want to put solar panels on people's house roofs and make better use of their roofs. Wind turbines where you can do them if they're not going to cause a problem for everything else. But the thing is, there are certain things where forcing poor people to pay for more expensive green energy is not a good thing to do. Sadly, Rick Astley wasn't in it, or it'd be more entertaining. But it's Greta dancing on the stage, like an old-fashioned word that's politically incorrect. I can't say anymore, but the old word that there was a society for, and we now call cerebral palsy in the UK. That word. She was dancing like that on the stage, where there was loads of disco lights, loads of loud music, and I thought, oh, look at all the energy you're wasting having all those lights on. Thankfully, first one shot, I don't think we do, but again, the governments keep bringing them up. Yeah, it was the second one, starting with SPA, Mike, the one I was thinking of. Yeah, because like I said, Lord Flashart, I know people that have put solar panels on their own house and had benefits from it because, they had enough money to initially pay for them or paid for them with a grant. And again, government grants are the way to do it, which the government won't do if they're forcing them on everybody. So, you put them on your own roof and it cuts down your own electricity bills a bit, each year. And that's a good thing if you do it that way, and lots of things like that. But the ones I just do not totally get is the idea of your gas boilers not eco-friendly, so you need one of these heat pumps, which is going to cost you far more because they're not as energy efficient, even if they're green somehow. Yeah, nuclear power is the best one, but lots of people are against nuclear power. So are you still friends with them, Oliver, or did you send them a message and say, what the hell are you playing at? Which is the Korean Mask Stoic Jedi I've done a video on? Let me have a look. Was that the K1 I've done the video on? Because Marcus lent me to do a video. let me have a look at my videos, and I can then tell you, because I can't remember. Korean K. So no, it's a K1 I've done a video on. Okay, let me look up Korean K3 mask. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool looking. I mean, if it's one of those things where, again, if I could get one for not silly money, I'd get it. Saying that K3 looks a lot to me like, I can see why you say the Fushida, but to me it looks a lot like that Chinese one Hype sent me recently as well. The this one, like if you took the drinking tube off of this one, it looks a lot like this, doesn't it, as well, actually? Yeah, and a good gas boilers, yeah, again, you can have a carbon monoxide alarm. Like, the thing is, I'm not clued up enough about different energy to say this thing is definitely better than this. But the worst thing in the world is to get people who don't have much money in the first place and force them to have less economical ways of like heating their houses or whatever. Sorry, what was that about Rick Wilson? I don't know. I've never listened to that, Rich, but I might have to now. But yeah, it's I definitely say the Fushida one. Yeah, it looks. I can definitely see there where like the strap position and the eyepieces look a bit like the F2. I can definitely see that. But yeah, they're all going to be like FM50 freestyle knockoff masks, aren't they? Yeah, well, like we said before, Flazzy and lots of other people, crypto definitely seems, with the way certain governments are acting, like, it's a bit more of a sensible. Not saying you should put all your money into it for obvious reasons, but I can certainly understand things like cryptos and gold being seen as more valuable assets if governments are just printing money and then wasting that money. Which is ready masks. The M15 and the 4A1 are both all right masks. So if you can get those between like $30 and $100 price, I'd say either of those are good for that. Although the M15 is the better one. Oh, have you had a refund for it then? If they so have they refunded it, or is it like you're saying, if you do get it for that money and don't have to appeal it, then that's actually a good price? Because for the price, that is a good price. Yeah, it has to turn up, doesn't it? I can certainly see little things like that, Lord Flashheart. Well, I'll do an eco-friendly video this week if people like. Wow, the one this week actually won't be an eco-friendly one. So I was going to say, tomorrow there's going to be a video. Whether or not it gets uploaded tomorrow, though, or it might be uploaded Friday, it's going to be the like Fallout Ripper style little chainsaw killing a pumpkin. Just because, again, we bought a pumpkin today, and I'm seeing one of my mates tomorrow, so we're going to get that little electric chainsaw, that you hold like that with your finger on the trigger. And again, I should probably get my riot gloves out so I don't cut my fingers off by accident. But that should be quite fun, just testing out how good a Ripper from Fallout would actually be. Although a Ripper from Fallout would be powered by a microfusion cell, I imagine. So that would actually, be a lot more efficient in terms of power. But yeah, just to see how well it like chops up pumpkins and stuff like that. Yeah, if it turns up, that's brilliant, isn't it? Because yeah. But like I said, the thing in today's video, and Brighthole says he's looked into this. I will have a look at his reply properly in a minute. But yeah, is the thing of I've had this issue now where if you buy stuff with lithium ions in the UK, it's now really hard to actually send them back. Yeah, exactly, litter picker. And there's also lots of problems, aren't there, at the moment, where certain sites might be hit by regulations that then makes it harder to withdraw from a certain site or whatever. Yeah, there's definitely other good masks as well as the FM53, isn't there, Brighthole? But yeah, I think a lot of people will recognise the name FM50 or like the later Avon masks more than a lot of other nations' masks. Right, so it's been a bit weird, Stoic Jedi. So after the Friday, so I'd say it was worst on maybe either the Friday or the Saturday. Like Friday was the day I first noticed it. The Saturday was like the day where they said have the weekend off work and you can have it as holiday and get full pay rather than, like having it on reduced sick pay sort of amounts. The Saturday obviously wasn't very pleasant, but a lot of that was because I'd been, barely got any sleep because, it kept waking me up constantly. The Sunday wasn't too bad. And then I think by Monday, I thought, oh, this is all nearly gone. And then yesterday, I think it was Monday, I passed another little kidney stone. And then Tuesday, I had a load more of the symptoms again. But a load of the symptoms are also related to a medication I'm on that I'm going to refuse to take now, because it's one that my doctor put me on because it was a cheaper alternative to another medication that had more side effects. But as of today, again, it's a lot better. But I think that's just because I've been, just drinking nothing but water. I maybe had one coffee earlier, I think. And, my plan for most of this week is just stay hydrated on water, and just keep going to the toilet little and often. Wow, here's the funny thing. Apparently, some alcohol can break up kidney stones, but because of the fact that, again, it's going to dehydrate you, it's probably not the best thing in the world. I don't know if they completely cause the stones, Oliver, but they'd certainly play a risk factor in it. They'd increase the risk of them, and they'd also, the thing I don't like with the meds, it's one of those meds that really dehydrates you. So basically, when you're on these tablets, you have to constantly go to the toilet and not get much out. That sort of med. I won't go too much into it on here, but yeah, it's ones I was given because they were a cheaper alternative to something else, and it's recommended that you take 1 to 2, every 4 hours or when symptoms appear of something else, and then it seems like they cause way more issues than they solve. I do like cranberries and stuff like that, yeah. But yeah, that would be a good thing to do at some point, Stoic, and I need to write it down properly so I don't forget. But yeah, at the moment, I've kind of got that issue again where I've had a lot of stuff turn up to do videos on, and I've just not got round to them because I've either been ill or, something else has come up that people wanted done as a priority, when something was relevant in the news. And again, the reason I did the video on the lithium ion thing today is because I know that's going to affect other people, that have the same issue I have. They buy something on Amazon or whatever, need to return it because it's faulty or, it wasn't quite what they wanted, and then find out they can't return it for a refund. The only problem with things like ale first one shot, as somebody like Weapon Collector just below you can tell you, is some of those things aren't good, for example, if you have gout, so they can make other sort of crystals form up. Yeah, I definitely get you there, Brighto. It's that sort of problem, isn't it? That on paper it might say oh, it has a 1 in 100 chance this and 1 in 1,000 chance this, and it deals, it's pretty much guaranteed to deal with something you've got. But then the problem is that if it does a better job at giving you the side effects and actually dealing with the main thing you're issued them for, they're not really very good meds. Yeah, I'm working most days, Stoic Jedi, 6 days a week at the moment, as in not always 8 or 9 hour shifts, but as in I'll be doing at least generally weekends when they're not booked off as holiday or whatever, like this current weekend coming up is. I normally have the thing where at weekends I'm working 18 to 20 hours sort of thing at the weekend, and then at the moment it's normally Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday I'm working a couple of hours to 4 or 5 hours per day. So it's only really been at the moment a lot of weeks that I've got Wednesday off, and I've had some days where I've been asked to do an extra shift, and I said, yeah, why not? Thinking of the money, and then realised I've been working 11 days straight. Yeah, exactly, Litter Picker. Yeah, pubs and everything like that are open as far as I'm aware, first one shot in the UK. Whether or not there's still some restrictions on them, I don't know. Because some of these things, here's something mentioned in the news, and I thought that was open. Because as far as I'm aware now, you don't have any issues of just literally turning up at a pub, going in for a drink or whatever, but I don't know if they have lower maximum capacities to space people out more or whatever. Yeah, exactly, Oliver. There's lots of stuff like that where if I could be given a list, and again, suddenly as patients you aren't given this, they say you've got some sort of condition, Here's the option if you're not given any medication. Here's the medications you can be given and a list of side effects for each. What do you want to try first? Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing, Mike, isn't it? So there's lots of stuff like that where I think you just have to be quite careful with your diet, don't you, if you're prone to them. But yeah, because the problem I've always had with a lot of medicines, Oliver, is a doctor basically says, doctor knows best, we're giving you this. And then if you need to change it because it's not working for you, that can sometimes be a ball ache as well. You know, I've even had ones where I've had a list of stuff available on the NHS, and they basically said, we're prescribing you this one, and then if you don't get on with it, they said, well, you can have the option of not having a medication. Why can't I have the other ones you mentioned, you know, or I've read about online that are on the NHS? Again, I guess it's not like all doctors are bad, but I guess some of them aren't really informed enough about what they can give you or all the side effects and whatever else. But yeah, I don't want this to turn into a medical whinging stream. Okay, so that's interesting. So if you have a salt then, Brighto, that you can, I guess, taste in the water, but you can't physically see it, is that type all right then? But not if it's one where you can see the salt just sitting there. Yeah, like I said, tomorrow I'll be filming a video of a Ripper-style chainsaw thing, cutting up a pumpkin, and that might be interesting. And then I'll upload that either tomorrow or Friday, depending on like when I get home and stuff like that. And then I imagine I'll be working Friday morning, but if I get time Friday afternoon, I should definitely have time on my birthday, just because it's one of those days of, you know, I'm stuck here with nothing to do for most of the day. I'll should be able to do another video, because I still want to do the ones on these fake germicidal lamps that are being sold through Amazon. Big Clive's done videos on them, but the problem is like actual Amazon themselves sell them directly on Prime now, rather than it being sellers through them. Yeah, this is the weird thing, Mike. So when I first had my first kidney stone, if you get a calcium stone, I assumed calcium milk. Yeah, milk's one of the things that's a problem. But what's weird is, according to like a load of medical stuff I've watched, actual milk in the form of calcium is a lot less dangerous to giving you calcium stones than things like spinach is. Ah, that's cool, Stoic Jedi. Do you know what the model is? And I can look it up and see if I know what type it is. Yeah, well, look, Litterpicker, that was one of the things that I mentioned to a lot of people, that if people take tablets, you know, would happily buy aspirin, paracetamol, whatever, and it has a massive list of side effects, and people take those fine, it's strange when those same people complain about vaccines, you know, for that sort of reason. That, you know, it's fine with one thing, but not another thing, especially if you're not being forced to take it. That's the thing I never get. But see you, Brighto. But yeah, the most sensible thing you can drink with kidney stones is always water, just because it keeps it flushed, like hydrated. Um, it's well down to diet more than anything, and then there's a genetic factor to it, which can always be a risk factor. Like, you know, some people are going to always be more likely to get them than others. Yes, that's weird, Litter Picker, isn't it? So, but again, it's luck, isn't it? There can literally be some people that drink stupid amounts, smoke stupid amounts, live to like their 90s or hundreds, and there can be some people that live really healthy lifestyles and then just get super unlucky with some sort of like rare illness. At the moment, pretty good, Cornelio Swag, because I think at the moment I can't even feel that down there at all. So yeah, at the moment that's 0 out of 10 for the pain. It's like goes between 0 and 10 and 1 out of 10 today. So other than it feels like I might have a cold coming on again because my throat feels a bit sore today. You know, like I noticed when eating certain foods it was irritating my throat, and it wouldn't, you know, under normal circumstances. See you, Bright. I will look at your comment in a minute as well because I want to check out that video. Right, let me type in global military eBay then, and I'll see if I can see the listing. I found global military history, which isn't the one. I tell you what, let me just search on eBay, Ukrainian body armor, something like that. Now I can't even find that one. I can find like some of the clothes that are worn under body armor, you know, like the shirts that have camo on one bit where your arms are exposed and not on the bits that don't. Can you just remember like roughly what the keywords were? Yeah, I think a lot of it, Mike, can often be unluck, can't it, with a lot of stuff like this? Or you've done something in the first place that's put you at risk, and then you're always at more risk. I did, Dan. I woke up a few times in the night, but thankfully it was just, you know, those times where I could wake up, go to the toilet, drink some more water, and I'd be asleep within minutes again, you know, so I actually felt rested by the time of the morning. Because it wasn't like one of those nights where I'd wake up, sort of feeling pain, keep rolling around, take ages to get back to sleep, and then, you know, have that happen a few times, and then there's been several hours of you not sleeping. Right, let me copy and paste that in and see if I can work out what type of vest it is. Yeah, that looks a lot like the current US type stuff. But if it's the ones coming up for like £600, that's very expensive. Because like the price of some of these, you could definitely get surplus British armor way cheaper than that. You know, even if you put your own plates in. Yeah, it looks like a fairly good plate carrier setup. But again, if you for example search Osprey body armor, you can normally find, even if they're a bit expensive, the Osprey Mark II armor with the plates in and that. Because you can find the MTP ones that are actually the more modern ones a bit cheaper, but I actually kind of prefer the look of the old desert sets. And again, some of them won't include the plates and you have to buy them manually, but even then, they're not going to be that much. Yeah, the Ukraine one looks a bit like that to me. It's probably a bit different, but... And again, with a lot of body armors like that, if you buy a Kevlar filler that's the same grade, that's a close enough size, you can always put it in. You don't have to get the official country's filler material for them. I've got two. I've got the Osprey MTP one, which I think is the Mark IV one, and I've got the Osprey older one that's the either a Mark II or a Mark III. You know, the one that's like just a regular old desert DPM, and it's got like the big pouch for the plate at the front there. I've also got the ECBA, and the ECBA is actually the one I like the most out of all those armors because it's lightweight. But I've also got a big Polish body armor set with sort of like steel plates in with like rubber backing. That's quite nice. Yeah, you can find them cheaper than that here, Cornholio, with all of the bits with them, but not with the inserts. That's the thing. So about £30 to £50. So what, like $40 to $60? You can get the complete set of all of the little bits and some of the attachments for them as well. But you just won't get the Kevlar or the plates in them, because when the MOD surplus them, they normally keep the plates and the Kevlar to reuse. Quite often, though, if you want to buy cheap body armor, it's always police surplus that's the cheapest ones because they tend to go through it a lot faster. Yeah, but I think just Cornholio, just as Flazzy says, it's because it's very high velocity, isn't it? And a small like head. And if you combine a small like tipped bullet going at very high speed, that makes it very easy to go through armor. It's like the reason arrows can go through armor quite easily because they've got a lot of force applied to a sharp point. Yeah, just bear in mind, obviously, that you can from armed police units quite often get the police stuff that is, you know, like the plate carrier type stuff as well. That's designed for, you know, if they're raiding a building and somebody might be shooting. Because obviously, I'd say if you're just wearing one for wearing under clothes, you just want like, the most slimline ex-police vest possible. But like, you know, some of the firearms teams do actually have the ones that are more like, like Kevlar inserts, and then they have some sort of like ceramic or steel plate that covers like the main bit of your chest. Anyway, I'll be off soon because I've been on over an hour, haven't I? Oh, and it didn't crash at least the stream this time, so that's good. Because like I said when I started it, the PC had crashed a couple of times tonight, but that could have been just down to the weather or maybe something overheating. What, long pig, because you get kuru from it. Yeah. Yeah, carrot juice gives you like a vitamin overload of some sort, doesn't it? Because wasn't there a bloke who used to try and be really healthy who had that problem? Like not realizing that which vitamin is in carrots? But I know it's one that causes like liver or kidney damage, doesn't it? Because of the if you're just taking too much in a day, it overloads the body. But yeah, the thing is though, Little Picker, I do know, as I said, I do know people personally that have had very healthy diets and still been really unlucky with illnesses. I'm not one of those people. I definitely could eat much healthier than I do, but I've never been really unlucky with like kind of fat related kind of issues, like with stuff like that. I've just been unlucky with stuff that like, oh, you've got this from birth essentially, and you've only just found out kind of illnesses. Yeah, because the thing is, like I was saying on that, Mike, is a lot of army ones they look like regular Kevlar fillers, but they're shaped ever so slightly differently. And again, I guess if you're only trying to get the Kevlar, like official fillers, you'd be looking for ages. Well, to give you an example, Cornholio Swag, thankfully they completely recovered. So somebody I know, thankfully he completely recovered, but this might have been down to like how healthy he was and the age he got it. But one bloke I know, when he was in his mid to late 20s, this had been when I was in my early 20s, because he was like a couple of years above me in school and that, and then, this happened to him after he'd finished school. He's actually a fitness instructor, so pretty ripped, ate a really healthy diet, exercised constantly, and he got leukemia. But, obviously didn't smoke, barely drank, all that sort of stuff. And thankfully he beat it, and he's just as strong as ever now. But, it goes to show, doesn't it, that if somebody can get, like, potentially a fatal cancer when they've done everything right, I think if it's going to get you in a lot of ways, a lot of this stuff, it's just going to get you. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like if you smoke heavily, your risk of lung cancer is much higher. If you drink heavily, your risk of liver failure, liver cancer is much higher. But it's just, for some people, it's awful, like the people who do everything right and then still get something. But yeah, that's the thing, Oliver. I think you get warning signs before it goes to the point of no return, don't you? With a lot of stuff like, oh, I really need to get in better shape. I don't think. I think lots of people just on purposely ignore the signs, like like all the really fat people that say, oh, other people shouldn't have a problem with me being fat. Where it's like, if you're literally at the stage where you take up 2 seats on the bus, maybe you are impacting on other people. Yeah, yeah, you could be like the German bloke who gets arrested for it, even if it was done consensually. But I imagine there's a lot of institutions where stuff like that goes on, and the people cover up for each other. I'll look into that then, AK, because green tea I sometimes find is quite good for my stomach. Yeah, like before I go off, speaking of the armor panels though in British vests, there's the funny thing, like the ECBA panels, even when they started, mostly retiring the ECBAs to the point, where I don't think they're making new ones anymore. Even if they make, new liners to put the stuff in that they're still keeping in service for a bit. What they ended up doing is putting the ECBA plates in like add-ons to the Osprey armor. So you can see like these weird belt like things that, like reinforcement belts, and it's like 3 ECBA plates side by side. One goes in a pouch, and another goes in a pouch, and another goes in a pouch. So it's just like that's why those don't turn up on the surplus market a lot. It's because the MOD will literally just keep reusing them in some ways. Yeah, I mean, Little Picker, it's a bit weird, isn't it? If you're like, I want you to kill me and eat me, that's a bit odd, but my general point with consensual adults is as long as they don't kill each other, it's fine. But this one did kill somebody, didn't he? I can't really understand the thing of you get off on being killed once sort of thing. But, that is a bit not safe for work, things like that. I guess he liked the manwurst, is it? Like man sausage? Manwurst? But yes. Yeah, that's the problem, Cornholio Swag, is if you buy it from within the EU now and you're in the UK, you can be hit by like a 20% tax type thing once it gets here. And then if you buy it from inside the EU, not EU, sorry, if you buy it from inside the UK, you just have to be careful that the people shipping it are actually shipping it, in like the most legit way possible. Because I've had stuff I've complained about before and been given partial refunds, where somebody charges you however how much for postage. I wouldn't care if it's only like a little bit difference, but where somebody charges you like 30 to 40 pounds for something postage, you get it with a postage label on it still, and it was like £10 for them to ship, and then you also get a quote online and all the quotes show up around the like same price as the postage label, and then they like send you a partial refund just to keep you quiet. So it's like, yeah, some sellers do milk postage for a lot of extra income. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll try a little bit first, like microdosing, whatever they say, and see if I get on with it. So that's yarrow tea, is it? So let me just search yarrow tea into Google and see if I can find some for sale in a minute, and then I'll order some and let you know how I get on with it. No, that's a bit weird to me if it's a video game, but I suppose I can understand it more in a game that if somebody's got bits of people in their pockets, like, man jerky, that they might not be the friendliest people, I guess. Right, anyway, I'll be off now. So if as Mike said, he's probably not on Twitch for the rest of this week, I will not see anybody on Twitch then this week. I'll do a couple more streams on days I can manage it this week. Probably no stream at all tomorrow, just because if I'm seeing like a friend, because we can't see each other on my actual birthday, I'm probably not going to be getting home super early or whatever, so I don't want to commit to doing a stream only to sort of find it's 9 p.m. or whatever when I eventually get home, and then I might not have any energy for it. So no Twitch. See you on Twitch Monday. Right, Mike. Have a good week, everybody. And then if I catch some more of you on streams or whatever before the end of the week, see you then. If not, have a good week, everybody.